And what exactly is the core of Christian teaching and thinking? And moreover, can we even say that there's a core kernel of what Christians throughout time and space have believed? And we think, in fact, there is. These are what we call the creeds. Hi, I'm Keaton Paul. I'm one of the pastors here at Zion Presbyterian Church in Columbia, Tennessee. And in this video, we want to persuade you that the creeds are absolutely vital for the Christian life. So there are a couple different creeds throughout the history of the church that go back to the very beginning that Christians throughout the ages and throughout the traditions have all affirmed. One such is what's known as the Apostles' Creed. The Apostles' Creed, we think, has its origins going back to maybe the late 1st century or even the early 2nd century. It's a short creed. It was written anonymously, probably somewhere in and around Rome, and developed throughout the first centuries of the church. One of the reasons why the creed was really developed, the Apostles' Creed in particular, was for just a short-handed way of saying this massive book called the Bible, can we summarize it in a short, memorable paragraph? And so out of that came the Apostles' Creed. Early Christians who were converted from paganism into Christianity were taught the Apostles' Creed, memorized it, and carried it with them so that as they're coming into the Christian faith, they could finally affirm, Christian, what do you believe? Another important creed itself is what's known as the Nicene Creed. The Nicene Creed was written for a specific purpose. Where the Apostles' Creed was developed anonymously throughout centuries, the Nicene Creed was sat down and written by theologians themselves for a particular reason. In the 4th century, there was a theologian named Arius, and Arius developed this doctrine and thinking that said that Christ was divine, but not the same kind of divine as the Father, and this became known as Arianism. A council was called for theologians and pastors throughout all of the known world to gather together at Nicaea in 325, and they talked through the issues that were surrounding Arianism, and an initial creed developed. Finally, a second council had to be called in 381 in Constantinople, and out of that came the Nicene Creed. And so, throughout the ages and the generations, those two creeds in particular have been a short summary to say, Christians everywhere believe this. This is in fact what the Bible teaches. There are a couple of really good resources though for understanding the creeds and why we need them. First and foremost is this great book called The Creedal Imperative by Carl Trueman. Carl Trueman is a fantastic church historian. He taught at Westminster Seminary for a number of years and now is at Grove City College. And in this book, one thing that he seeks to do is to say that creeds are vital not only for the Christian life, but for the church itself. They're written as a way to be guideposts for the church, to hold us true to the teachings of Scripture themselves, and to ground us and root us into the rich doctrine that's laid out there. But a second great resource is this lovely volume by our dear friends over at Crossway called Creeds, Confessions, and Catechisms, which is edited by Chad Van Dixhorn. In this, it's really just the primary sources themselves of the creeds, the confessions, and the catechisms. So for this particular video, the first section on the creeds are laid out. There are short introductions to each creed to give a little bit of background, some of its origins and even use, and then the creed itself. And so these two resources will vastly help the Christian really develop an understanding of the creeds, to memorize and think on the creeds, to hold with them so that they can carry with them the rich doctrine of Scripture and know truly what Christians believe. With that, we thank you for watching this video.